You were looking for me. I didn't tell you whether I am into politics, whether I am an evangelist, whether I am a conventionist or a revolutionist. After this day, you will have to wait for me to share my policies and my visions with you. And if I'm the reason why the country or the government is not happy about these great voices coming to educate not only Ghana, but also Africa, then I'll take this moment to sacrifice myself, to unveil myself, because I have much respect for these great leaders beside me. It would have taken my own time to tell you that I am. But for this very moment, I am sacrificing myself to let you know that I'm that man. But I'm that man with a good purpose, with a great vision. I have a plan and I have a vision for this nation. And not only this nation, I have it for Africa too. But I know Africa is the next biggest thing, because out of all the continents that have been developed in this world, there is only one continent that is not developed. And I am sent to do that. I am not interested in people's positions. I am not interested in presidential positions. I am interested in the regions and the humans. I am interested in the countries. I am interested in the continent, the resources here, the human resources here, the great opportunities to be able to prove a point to the world that this is what we can make out of ourselves as a black society. We have been doomed and disrespected, undervalued by everybody in the Western world. My pain is in my heart and I can't express it to you, so I let my actions speak for me. I want to thank you very much for this moment, and I want to thank live in our countries with a box economy. I needed.
We will be coming to the Independence Square of Ghana on a very sensitive day like the 7th of January to address the youth of this country. A young man by Professor Lumumba coming to Ghana, most especially Julius Malema coming to Ghana, Dr. Arikana coming to Ghana. I think these are the improvements of Africa. Our Ghanaian improvement is gone, but these are the improvements of other countries. Today they are in here to speak to the youth. We get here and we realize that the program is cancelled. We were invited as student leaders of this country. All mother unions of this student of Ghana here were invited. The University Student Association are invited. Member institutions are invited. The National Union of Ghana Students is invited. People have moved from Navarango, people have moved from our student leaders to listen to these great people. We get here and we are told that the program is cancelled. Why? What are they going back home to speak about Africa? I know definitely Lumumba is going to speak on media. We will listen to Lumumba. I am sad. I don't know what is the reason behind, but we are sad. We are bitter. We are pained. It is very sad.
What cue should the African youth take from this?
You see, I don't know. The important thing is that I would have been able to answer this question properly if the forces behind the cancellation of this program was known. I don't know. But I am sad. I don't know the convention that is meant to ignite the voice of Africa. What we are interested as student leaders is that it's the people on the flyer. Some people are here who want to listen to Stonebwoy. I am here as a young student leader to listen to the powerful speakers of Africa.
Of course.
Let me repeat this again. Ghana Nkrumah is gone. But as young student leaders, we know some Nkrumahs in different countries. Right. Lumumba is a clear example. Julius Malema is a clear example. Stop the program. Why? Who is that?
I'll tell you, our issues as Africans today are issues of the mind. The most dangerous African of today is an African who is colonized, educated or not. Coming from Zimbabwe, I can honestly tell you that the people who are moving Zimbabwe in terms of the awakening are the villagers. They seem to have a better understanding of what is really going on and are less likely to be sold, are less likely to sell their souls. And you must look at the people around you. Some of the most difficult people, I was called by the Africa group at the World Bank one time to address them for their annual event. And I went through all the issues and the pillars of why Africa is where Africa is, and I analyzed the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization that the 14 African former French colonies were meant to sign. I thought everybody understood. But at the end of it, 2 African-born economists working for the World Bank come to me and said, "But Ambassador, why do you keep talking about the Berlin Conference? It's a thing of the past." And to my utter shock, I'd gone through the process of explaining the Berlin Conference, and that it is a policy that was put in place in order to see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated. And that as long as we have a country called Togo, as long as we have a country called Burkina Faso, as long as we have a country called Malawi, we are defeated. Intentionally so. So these 2 economists working for the World Bank are the same ones now that are being used as instruments of our own self-destruction.
We only shifted venue, so the conversation continues. We're in Ghana to start a conversation about Africa. Africa for too long has suffered, and everybody knows the reason why Africa has suffered. People can try to present it in different ways. The Prof speaks about it every day. Africa has been going through what it's going through because of what I always say, it is due to one problem: leadership. It is failed leadership over the years that brought Africa where it is. I want to start a conversation because of what Dr. Arikana has said, talking to the youth of Africa. No continent in the world today has the potential of Africa. Not one. We are the 2nd largest in terms of population and size. But our potential is far greater than even number 1. Because today, Africa is the only continent that has a population of 1.1 billion youths, energetic, talented, ready to lead the world in different areas of the world. Africa is home to the biggest, highest amount of natural resources, from minerals to, we have 65% today of the world uncultivated arable land. So imagine what we can do. We can feed the world, we can do everything. But ironically, because of what I started with, failed leadership over the years, Africa is also home to the highest number of poor people. Out of the 700 million people in extreme poverty, 431 million live in Africa. Over 30% of our population. If you go to multidimensional poverty, out of 1.1 billion, over 60% is in Africa, with Congo and Nigeria leading. Today, in the surface of the world, Congo has the highest amount of natural, call it minerals.
I'll tell you, our issue
To Accra, Ghana, to share our message, the message of hope, the message that Africa needs at this time. And there is no better place in the continent of Africa to begin that message than Accra, Ghana. It is in this Accra, Ghana that the Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, almost 67 years ago, spoke to the world and told the world that the independence of Ghana meant nothing if the continent of Africa was not free. 67 years later, we were congregating here in Accra in the very same place where the founding fathers and mothers of Ghana congregated to share the message of hope. Invited as we were by the New Africa Foundation, with one single instruction that we have lamented for too long, agonized for too long, and the time is now to organize. That is the innocent message that we came here to deliver. And in a manner totally inexplicable to us, we are not at that venue. But is it not the wise to say, when the world serves you a lemon, ask not for an orange, make yourself lemonade? We are here therefore to say that the message will be alive and well. And you who are here, young and old, you are the conduit via which we are now telling the world that the journey of hope continues apace, not only within the continent of Africa, which is the mother continent, but to Africans in the diaspora. I have no doubt in my mind that there is a conspiracy of sorts by the elements that it has happened the way it has happened. So this is not an occasion for lamentation. It is an occasion for redoubling our efforts. And our presence here in Accra, Ghana, my good friend, Honorable Obi, my dear sister, Dr. Rikana Chihomri, wow. This is the occasion for which the English word serendipity was created. It is a serendipitous occasion that heralds a great future for the continent of Africa. So that looking forward, a meeting such as this will happen not only here in Accra, Ghana, but I look forward to a meeting such as this taking place in Ouagadougou, in Burkina, taking place in Dakar, in Senegal, in Nairobi, in Kenya, in Johannesburg, in South Africa, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, because this is about the continent of Africa. And we say this at a time when we know that Africa has promised to herself that we are going to make more intimate our interaction. This is why the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is headquartered here in Accra, Ghana. This Accra, Ghana is where all Africans of goodwill pay homage. Because out of this Accra, Ghana, there was a great son, Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah. Shall be well.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief? What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief?
which can punish you. Yes. And they can punish you and create hardship for you, but because you see it like supporting Olympics or Accra House of Folk, you still support, although the policies are not favoring you. It's not about party colors. A nation becomes what its citizens vote for. Sometimes we pray, we say, let's pray for the nation, that God will bless the nation. No, we have to pray that the citizens will make intelligent choices. Because if the citizens don't make intelligent choices, God is not going to come and rule Ghana for us.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Well, a very good morning to you and welcome to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana, and we're going through, or the year has already started, and we're going to see how it will go. Like I said yesterday, some opinion leaders and, some persons have already started talking tough, politicians and all, hard and tough. So let's see how it goes. We have some updates also on the economy. We'll be seeing how the details have been captured, especially led by the finance minister. But let me give you the headlines of the newspapers. I start off with the Daily Graphic. It says, economy as election beckons, demand solutions from parties, Presby moderator to citizenry. Redeploy military to support Galamsey fight in forest reserves, Forestry Commission. Redeploy military to support Galamsey fight in forest reserves, Forestry Commission. Digital devices necessity for fourth industrial revolution, Dr. Bawumia. Adopt civil society approach to constitutional reform, Professor Okoye. The voice of the people unveiled. Comes to the picture of Cheddar, we're told the man behind the mask. The Ghanaian Times, the New Year school, government set to construct digital youth village to boost youth digital entrepreneurship. Ex-President Mahama recommits to reviewing constitution if elected. Government committed to green turf construction in communities nationwide, says Veep as he applauds Wembley Sports Complex. 18 NPP MPs bow out of Parliament. Daily Guide. BBC Synagogue Church tango over TB Joshua. Government supports digital village project. Bawumia unveils campaign focus. Daily Guide appoints new editor. The New Crusading Guide. Veteran broadcaster Kwame Adinkra applauds Dampare for exceptional Christmas security. You didn't see the surroundings of the police headquarters during the Christmas. I think you can still check. They still have their decorations, intact. Help Ghanaian-owned OMCs to thrive. SAC, that's SAC Energy. TB Joshua's can of worms, a cult of unimaginable horrors, abuse, rape, sexual harassment, staged miracles, and blood sacrifices. Someone just said something in the studio, it's cracking me up. YEA announces continuous opening of B portal. That's a BEAP portal for business applications, job seekers. All right. We also have ahead of primaries, Fijash Setre, East MPP Youth, Roots for Berima, chant no Berima support, no vote. And the top right corner, Chief of Staff Family supports the ARC Foundation. The Insight newspaper, leadership crisis hits MPP headquarters as Kodia seeks more power. Election 2024, Isla vows to lead Ablekuma West MPP to victory. Achia Singh chief elders appeal for police protection over activities of land guards. And then lithium, SMG rejects a Woya mining deal by government. Erata group of companies donate to widows, aged, and people living with disabilities in Kumewu. Genocide in Gaza. Support grows for South Africa's case against Israeli atrocities. The Inquisitor. MPP running mate Amwakoba blasts Lotus Wontumi. Excessive noise at Laboni. 355 launch. Latma sued. This is beautiful. Afenyo King Mahama Damboche display unity at Guam Congress. Editorial. When Dr. Educhum availed himself for public ridicule. And the top right corner, I didn't attack judiciary. SP. The Daily Statesman. GTech expedites accreditation process. Mahama exposed over false claims against Akufo-Addo. NPP wraps up vetting of aspirants. Let's champion after agenda. Baumia rally support for key stakeholders. The Daily Searchlight. SML $1 billion deal is scam. Boss source. Scam. Boss source. Ahafo. Techimentia youth rejects plan to commence community mining in Enclave. Ojiahoho Yao, JB II should set the record straight. The top right corner headline is actually robbed off, but we have JM to 12 Volta Ashanti regions on the Building Ghana We Want tour. And that's it for the headlines of the newspapers. Let me just remind you that as we celebrate the 50 years of the host of this program, Dr. Randy Abbey, it's also the 22nd year of Good Morning Ghana. So congratulations to all of us. There's a team that's working on this program, and also you, our viewers, as well. Any messages you have, you can send it to all the social media platforms, and it will be displayed on the screens. For now, we'll take a break. We'll be back shortly.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
On my long and stressful days, I long for the refreshing company of my favorite companion. Wow, my favorite. Tomato onions, maybe tomatoes. Hi. Oh, hello. Please, I need to know the drink you were enjoying earlier at the shop. Sure. Even on Sundays in the market, nothing is for one. Guess what I brought? A refreshing companion for you and I.
My favorite.
Angel Drinks. Nyamepe, nyawenejehu.
This advert is FDA approved.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm afraid Missy Wayne.
Repacho Bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me Jidi say we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
Gaskia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan. Ine kosen. Cal 360 did the work. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance, and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ekropon. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ekropon right after the Latte Junction, or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
So we are stadium feeling wow them. Everything 12 January, I copy him say about Afcon every year. My Afcon and Soja call. I won't fear Hisense TV, Amcom TV, and a sound system. Yatisu say who? A Hisense Afcon double promo. The best you Afcon beer. I love Afcon beer. Can clear our Hisense and the Amcom TV so. Sadamna yeda. That's a comment in Nusu Chagua. Clear our Hisense sound system so. Bora Hisense showroom bia na wo be hu say ya tete TV any sound system so ezan Afcon ninti sa wo to ade wo Hisense ya waso Jones Hisense go na ma 5 years manufacturer defect warranty sa Afcon radio ya mani je no anya double if we say Hisense wo hama Hisense ya ne bona to football esa football ninti Hisense she kakra wo hu.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
And you man see.
This advert has been vetted and approved by
biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadam Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix, Wokwain Sunyonko Papa.
Welcome to the program. It's Good Morning Ghana, and my guest already with me. I have the editor for the Inside newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr. with me. Kwesi, you're welcome. Good morning to you. Thank you for coming. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, many happy returns.
Right. So, also Nana Fredia Uforiata is a national, a member of the National Communications team, or I'll say a member of the NPP, and also he is in charge of. I shouldn't mention it.
You're putting me in charge of what?
National Theatre.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no more.
I'm not the executive director.
Yes, but you're what?
I'm the chairman.
Yes.
That's not in charge.
Ah, okay. So if you're a chairman, I can't describe it as in charge.
No,
okay, apologies. Anyway, so he's a chairman for the National Theatre Board, right?
Yeah.
So you're welcome as well, and Happy New Year. Good morning to you.
To you, ma'am.
And thank you both for also representing and showing love for your brother. Dr. Randy.
Why do you want the whole world to know we've been partying?
And why do you want to hide? Why do you want to hide if you have been partying? You want to hide your parties. Anyway. So let's go to what MTN is offering to us. It is the Momo season, and it says that what exactly Momo season is all about is MTN giving you the Momo app to also stand a chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis weekly and some other amazing prizes. The merchants are also not left out of this game. It's actually using the platform, and it will give you the chance of winning these prizes and the money of 1,000 Ghana cedis. It says receive payments and win. So keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone as well. So transact more with Momo Pay, earn more points, and win big this season. So you log on to the www.momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh for Momo business account today. Now, let me also remind you of the CelKids toothpaste that's available for your children. And it says brushing your kids' teeth sometimes becomes difficult due to the resistance because of the taste or the harshness of the toothpaste that the children actually use. So use CelKid toothpaste, which is flavored with strawberry, and of course give them a perfect taste for kids and makes them develop a personal attitude for brushing their teeth always, maybe sometimes without your help. So CelKid toothpaste protects child's gum, prevents cavities, and makes their teeth strong and healthy with freshness all day. CelKid toothpaste is recommended for children between 2 to 6 years old. It's a product from Samara Company Limited and also producers of Sasso and approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. CelKid's Happy Smile. Lift and elevator is also still available, and it is ready to assist you in your homes. If you're not able to climb your stairs that you have actually sweat to build, you want to use a lift and elevators which will fit the lift in your homes. Will help you carry your goods as well, and also they will give you a minimum of 3 days and they can fix it for you. Lift and elevators at Sakumono. Call them on 0200-535-515 or send an email to elevators@gmail.com for consultations and best solutions and easy vertical movements. Amin Alternative Medical Hospital is also announcing to you that if you want to do some checkups, that is a place to go. And it says as one way to cure your ailment is through alternative medicine. And that's when Amin Alternative Medical Hospital comes in. It is one of the best alternative medicine hospitals in Ghana today. Trust them. So for all your health consultations, counseling, physiotherapy, and homeopathic medicine, Amin Alternative Medical Hospital has the best for you. And also is the first to modernize herbal and homeopathy medicine in Ghana. And they have the best medical practitioners from KNUST with a state-of-the-art medical equipment curated for your need. The most obscure ailments can be diagnosed and taken care of. Amin Alternative Medical Hospital is at Klagon on the Lashibi Ashaman Road near the Underbridge, from Monday to Saturday at 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's when they work. And on Sundays, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or call them on 020-7229-505 or 0244-227-192 to book your appointment. Amin Alternative, it says that Medical Hospital, God is your healer. Okay. Well, since today, this year is actually an election year, we started discussing a few issues that came up yesterday. Dr. Farjan addressing the press and making certain comments, especially about elections, and also what he said about the, what's it called, the Council of Elders, all right? So one issue that he said, let me just read this one and then I'll tell you something that Kodeyo has also released. Afarjan cautions EC against imposing electoral system changes on political parties. I read this and it says that a former chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Afari-Gyan, has cautioned the commission against imposing changes in the electoral system on political parties. He underscored the relevance of the country's 3 decades of uninterrupted democracy that have afforded the Republican dispensation. This speaking at the 4th Constitution Day lecture on Monday, January 8, 2024, Dr. Afari-Gyan emphasized the need for key actors in the nation's electoral system to guard against circumstances that have the potential to stampede it. Dr. Afari-Gyan cautioned the EC not to impose decisions concerning electoral reforms on political parties, but to strive to reach a consensus. Quote, the Electoral Commission must view the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, that's the IPAC, as a convenient forum for discussing changes to our electoral practices, irrespective of whether the intended change originates from the Commission or the party. The reason is that it is not good, it's not a good practice to force changes in electoral practices on important stakeholders like political parties. It is prudent to discuss any intended changes thoroughly at IPAC meetings with a view of achieving consensus. Now, if consensus is achieved, quote, if consensus is achieved, the IPAC then becomes convenient vehicle for disseminating the changes to the electorate, unquote, he said. The former EC chair bemoaned the dominance of monetary inducement in the country's electoral system, adding that it could have a negative implication on the country's fledgling democracy. Well, that's what he said. I think I captured that yesterday. Broad daylight vote buying, selling, a shameful spectacle. Dr. Afari-Gyan, former chairman of the Electoral Commission, has painted a stark picture of the country's democracy, lamenting politicians' broken promises and open vote buying in a hard-hitting keynote address during the Constitution Day public lecture on Monday, January 8, 2024. The event was organized by the University of Professional Studies, Accra UPSA Law School, and One Ghana Movement. Afari-Gyan, a renowned figure who presided over the Ghana's crucial transition to multi-party rule in 1992, delivered a scathing critique of modern political practices, stating that instead of outlining concrete policies, quote, our politicians spent a lot of time making and repeating promises to the electorate. One cannot be sure that even politicians themselves believe that they can fulfill the numerous promises they make, unquote. He went on to warn of the dire consequences of unfulfilled promises, calling them a, quote, milestone around the politician's neck with negative, unquote, with negative effects spilling over and even impacting party members who had no initial role in the promise-making enterprise. But Afari-Gyan's criticisms went beyond broken promises, and he reserved his sharpest rebuke for what he described as a shameful spectacle of the open market vote buying and selling that marred recent elections. Now, there's I think I have a story that yesterday I told you, he describing our those elders, Uncle, the elders that help the president make decisions. What do you call them? The Council of Elders. Good, I found a story. He says, Council of Elders now like an honorific institution without power. A former chairman, of course, of Dr. Afari-Gyan has expressed concern over what he likened to the Council of State ineffectiveness, which he has said has made it look like an honorific institution without power. Dr. Afari-Gyan explained that the Council is the only body with the power to advise every public institution apart from the president, but its current work makes it appear like an institution without power. Quote, we will all agree that the Council of State has an imposing name, But the way it has so far gone about its work has made it look like an anorexic institution without power. Yet apart from the president, the council has power to advise every public institution in Ghana. Based on my own experience at the Electoral Commission, I can say that the council takes briefings from the public institutions and gives them advice, unquote. The former Electoral Commission suggests that the council must periodically release a report detailing the work it has done within the period to help. I think, quote, I think it will help the public gauge the council's impact if periodically it issues reports indicating what advice it has given to which institution, unquote. Now, just finally, let me land on CODEO. So this morning I saw the headline of, something about EC must reconsider decision to discontinue the use of indelible ink. The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, has advised the Electoral Commission, EC, to review its decision to eliminate the use of the indelible ink from the 2024 election. National Coordinator of CODEO, Albert Ahe, said that while Ghana can manage without the indelible ink, it is advisable to retain it as a secondary option in the case of biometric system fails. Remember, we're discussing something of that nature yesterday. So to be honest with you, the process that we have for voting in Ghana, we could have easily done away with indelible ink. We can easily do away with it. You see, quote, you see, the other side of it is that sometimes we have these machines that we're using, as the DVD machines, breaking down. And if it breaks down, what are we going to do? He said that on Joy FM, he explained that this might be the reason for National Democratic Congress, NDC's consistent emphasis that it was wrong to remove the sole verification process since the inception of the electoral process in Ghana. Quote, I am sure that it is a fear that the party is entertaining. So let us use it as a backup. If I were the Electoral Commission, I would just use it as a backup because in the case sometimes or some machines do break down. When they break down, the indelible ink is a last resort, unquote. Okay. So, Ankwesi, those are some stories, as captured in the address of Dr. Afari-Gyan. CODEO's concerns as far as elections, changes are also concerned. This is what they think. What do you think about these issues that have come up?
Well, it's not surprising. We've just entered an election year. And it is to be expected that all kinds of individuals and institutions will be making comments about how we should manage our electoral process in order to achieve the desired results, of the Ghanaian people. Now, first, I'd like to state that Dr. Afari-Gyan is perhaps one of the most credible experts on elections in Ghana. He served as chairman of the Electoral Commission over a very long period. He has, consulted for many countries involved in elections and so on. And it does appear that during his tenure, there were less controversies. Indeed, I happen to have served as an observer in the strong room when Dr. Afari-Gyan was electoral commissioner. And I can testify that he conducted himself in the most dignified manner. One thing I can say for Dr. Afari-Gyan is that he never, throughout his tenure, declared any results that the parties did not approve before declaration. We were in the strong room. The results came on fax machines. And the results first went to the party representatives in the strong room, not the electoral commissioners. And it was only after the parties had agreed that the results were authentic that they were sent to the electoral commissioners, who then announced the results. I was so very happy with this system. And anytime there was a controversy amongst the parties, the role that the electoral commissioners played was one of mediation in order to reach a compromise. You understand? Now that has changed significantly over the last 8 years. I mean, that system has changed significantly. Even the strong room no longer exists. And I'm worried about that. Now, for me, what is the most important thing in an election? The most important thing in an election is simply that the people's will must prevail. What the people want, ought to be the outcome. So, we need to guard against intimidation, because you can actually create an atmosphere which does not encourage people to go to the polling stations and count, and cast their ballot. If you do that, the people's will not prevail. Padding of votes is also an example, And then, of course, as we do know, security arrangements at the polling stations are most important. Now, one of the things that Dr. Farijan said in his lecture is simply the fact that the Electoral Commission must consult with the parties. It should not take arbitrary decisions, and I fully agree with Dr. Farijan. Over the last couple of years, electoral commissioners have insisted on their so-called independence to a very ridiculous extent. Why? What is that independence? That independence is limited by the very constitution which grants that independence. Okay? Their independence is derived from constitutional provisions and so on. The constitution itself is subject to amendment by the people. The constitution which grants them that so-called independence is itself subject to amendment by the people. I think that the independence of the commission, which is enshrined in the 1992 Constitution, only has to do with their administrative work. That, for example, no outsider should go to the commission and tell them who they appoint as accounts officer and so on. But when it comes to the conduct of elections, I think the Constitution itself recognizes the fact that it is the people of Ghana who decide whether even to have an electoral commission or not. It is the people of Ghana who decide ultimately, how elections ought to be conducted and whether or not the outcomes are acceptable or not. Clear. So the Electoral Commission, I think, needs to pipe down on this trumpeting of its independence and so on, and begin to realize that it is conducting the elections on behalf of the people of Ghana, and that the inputs of the people of Ghana ought to be respected. Various statements have been made about the iPad. Unfortunately, I think that Nana, who is here, is very familiar with the operations of the iPad. Yes, it is described as a consultative body, but I think it's an important consultative body. If the Electoral Commission is going to superintend over elections, it's important that those who are actually going to take part in the elections, sponsor candidates and so on, ought to be consulted at every stage. And we didn't have any problem with iPad, consultations with iPad, from whenever iPad was established, up until recently. I have participated in a couple of iPad meetings. They were usually most cordial. Even where there were disagreements, eventually we found a way of coming to agreements about how to conduct elections and so on. And I think it's important that this Electoral Commission, recognizes that. The other thing that I find most important is that commissioners ought to shut their mouth when not necessary. Because you have many instances of commissioners making highly prejudicial comments. Making comments which pitch them against other political parties. And I think it's most unfair. We had an instance where, for example, a commissioner made a statement to the effect that one political party which was going to contest in the elections is a danger to the effort to foster democracy in Ghana. What a statement from an electoral commissioner. So they ought to guard themselves. They ought to be very careful about what they say and perhaps even what they do not say in order to protect, the integrity of this process. I'm also getting very deeply worried by some developments. You see, electoral commissioners vote in elections. In much the same way that, Supreme Court judges vote in elections and so on. So it can be presumed that they have preferences, they have choices and so on. That is fine. But they are not supposed to be wearing these preferences and choices on their foreheads. Because the moment they start wearing these preferences and choices on their foreheads, they create enormous problems for the integrity, of the whole process. And it's in this connection that I insist that known partisans, known card-bearing members of political parties should not be appointed onto the Electoral Commission.
I suppose that is why or where Dr. Afara-Gyan is coming from as far as the work of the Council of State is concerned, because I think NDC wrote to the Council of State and they responded, but nothing was done about the appointments that were made, which made the party actually write to the Council of State.
Well, unfortunately,
so in a situation like that, I'm not
the
sure.
role that the Council of State can play is that when the appointments are referred to them, they can advise the president not to continue, with the process. But I'm not so sure that once the appointments have been made, the Council of State can overrule the president. So the letter that the NDC really sent to the Council of State, I think, was needless. The Council of State doesn't have the power to reverse appointments which have been made by the president. They can advise in the process of appointing, you understand? So sometimes I think we are very unfair to the Council of State. We are quite unfair to the Council of State. The point I'm making simply is that known activists, card-bearing members of political parties should never be appointed onto the Electoral Commission. Because if that is done, it undermines the integrity of the whole commission. If that is done, it can lead to suspicions about intentions for the future. And I'm worried about that, you understand? And in the interest of the upcoming elections, which is going to be one of the most crucial elections in our history, I think it is important that those who have already been appointed onto the Electoral Commission, who have this disadvantage, who have this deformity, should be encouraged to resign before the elections. They should be encouraged to resign before the elections.
Oh.
And by encouragement, I mean many things.
Okay.
Many things. I did not want to say that they should be forced out of office. But there are many things that ought to be done in order to get them out of the office. You understand? Already, we have an electoral commission which has serious credibility problems. All the polls that have been conducted over the last 6 years indicate that the electoral commission has serious credibility problems. You do not add on to that credibility problems, those credibility problems, if you begin appointing card-bearing members of political parties onto the Electoral Commission. And in their own interest, and in the interest of the country, and so on, and in the interest of the commission that they serve, I think they should resign. They should be made to resign. They should be given all the encouragement, to resign in order to preserve the integrity of the upcoming elections.
What do you foresee? Should they not resign? Or should they fail to resign?
Well, if they don't resign, it will be a blot on the integrity of the commission. And if you go into an election with
if it just so happens that maybe the opposition wins?
The blot will still be there.
Really?
Yeah, it will be there. You see, from my experience, and I don't think that it is only my experience, it ought to be the experience of all those who have watched elections in Ghana and have participated in the processes. To rig an election successfully, that means to rig an election to the extent that enables you to be declared, president or so on, you need to exceed a certain margin. You understand? First and foremost, you can only rig in your strongholds.
Okay.
Real serious rigging vote pardon and so on can only happen in your strongholds. That's a principle we've established over the years. Now, secondly, if you're going to do vote pardon, it needs to be done at a certain level, percentage level. You understand? Because if you overdo it, it will show in the results. There's a certain number of registered voters which you cannot exceed. So if you're going to declare results which are 150% of registered voters and so on, your rigging is useless. So you need to rig within the 100%. Okay.
Of the registered voters.
Exactly. So when you have a situation where the election is heavily tilted against you, and you are losing heavily, to rig means you need to add on a lot more ballots. And the more ballots you rig, the more obvious it becomes that there has been rigging. You understand what I'm saying? So rigging is not easy. There are so many factors you have to take into account when you're going to vote part, and so on. But the most important thing is that the processes ought to be transparent. The persons supervising the elections ought to be seen as neutral arbiters, and so on. That's the way to go forward.
Let me ask you before I go to Nana. Dr. Afari-Gyan at the time in the strong view said before he declares he will agree with the parties.
All the parties would agree on
how was that done?
Very simple. The results came by fax machines, okay, and the results were then given to the party representatives who are all in one room, in the strong room. Normally, the party representatives will call their agents from where the results are coming from to check if those were the results declared at that level. Now, after that, amongst the party agents in the strong room, we do comparisons. We raise issues, where we are not very clear and so on. And when we come to agreement, every party agent then signs the declaration form. It's at that stage that the declaration form is taken to the electoral commissioners, usually Dr. Afari-Gyan. And then it is from there that the results are announced.
So where there is disagreements, what happens? The party have different numbers. Maybe NPP has different numbers, CPP has different number, NDC has. What does Afari-Gyan, at the time, what did he do?
There were very few cases where we had different numbers. Very few cases where we had different numbers. And when we had different numbers, first of all, the consultation amongst the party agents and so on, the verification with the source of the results and so on, that takes place. And then the Electoral Commission itself also does its own checks. We were able to resolve all the issues. There was no issue which was left unresolved. All the issues were resolved.
I'm just thinking how, he managed to reconcile figures where there were disagreements. It means you probably have to go back to the source.
Always. Where there are disagreements about figures, the first point of check is the source of the results. And sometimes, the problems that we had were typos.
Okay.
And those were easily verifiable. There were a few occasions where you had problems where the figures in words didn't tally with. Exactly. And those things were easily reconcilable. You understand? Yeah.
Well, and why are you shaking your head?
Okay.
Well, that's why you're here. That's why you're here. Remember that there's also another reform of us trying to bring in regional coalition centers now. That's part of the.
First of all, the thing is that it's good to know that he's come out. It's always good to hear from people on reflection, especially when they are experienced. His record was, I believe, first as a deputy commissioner for the period that, that 92, up until he was appointed.
As commissioner.
And I think he was appointed commissioner in 2000.
Okay. Nana, just apologies. I'm told that your sound, we have a problem with your sound. So let's take this opportunity to go for
It's
break,
not a problem,
right?
It's not a technical problem with the sound.
Is
It's
what?
a problem with Nana himself.
Individuals. Rossi Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rossi Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance, and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ikropong. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ikropong right after the Latte Junction, or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calcate Toothpaste. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calcate. Happy smile.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
The solution.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatment like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
And you might see.
These adverts have been vetted and approved by
Welcome back to the program. We're still on Good Morning Ghana. I'm still in the studio with Nana Fredia Oforiata, who is the chairman for the National Theatre Board and also a member of the MPP. I also have Kwesi Pra Jr., who is the managing editor for the Insights newspaper. Nana, before I come to you, let me just do this one quickly and then I'll be done with. So, Betway cash out offer is here and it says that Ayetsoko. So, Betway cash out just got better. Our enhanced early partial and auto cash out feature lets you cash your best out early, cash out a portion of your ongoing bets and or even set your bets to cash out automatically. All this is to give you more control over every thrilling bet you play. So sign up today at betway.com/GH. Terms and conditions apply. They say regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana, not under persons under 18. So Betway gets way more. And Game Pack Game is also here, and it says that if you know what Mula means and what it feels to be a tycoon, remember that who's got the million got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. So pick up your phones, tablets and computers and download the app. That's a Game Pack Games app on Play Store, or you can also play on website www.gamepackgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose the numbers from 0 to 9, and it's easy to play, easy to win. They say, and nobody beats their odds in Ghana. So not for persons under 18, so play responsibly. Now, Kel Charcoal toothpaste is also available. I talked about the Kel kits. It's for children between the ages of 2 and 6. But Kel Charcoal, children of 6 and above can all use it. So it's also used from the pounded peduncle of plantain and mixed with charcoal, and essential medicine properties that help remove toxins from your mouth are also used. So the natural absorptive property of charcoal helps remove bacteria and products from bad breath and gives you the fresh breath, and it's formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions with all necessary production protocols that has been approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. So constant use of Kel Charcoal toothpaste gives you a good fresh breath, whiter teeth, reduces dental plaque and makes the gum healthy and strong, prevents cavity and also upset stomach, hangover and so on. You know, some of you, when you have stomach problems, you drink charcoal, I don't know, you call it charcoal something. So this will also help you curb such problems if you're using the toothpaste. And also, Angel Cola is making available some different flavors for you on the market. We have the Angel Mango, Angel Peach, and Angel Lime, Angel Orange as well. For all your events and occasions, produce vitality and maintain fluid in normal balance. Angel drinks refreshing, invigorating, and exciting, and produced by Adongo Soft Drink Beverages as well. Recommended for all, including children. Contact them on 0244 832286 or 050 7878668. Terms and conditions also apply. And Kingdom Real Estate is also announcing those of you who want some affordable housing facilities for sale. Our facilities are located at a serene environment of Ikapime Kopone Ibui and best weather with the best weather condition. And we're also 30 minutes drive from Accra and provide modern touch of comfort. Now, we provide high standard security service plus CCTV, standby generators, constant water supply and electricity, and we are surrounded with lovely tourist sites such as Ebri Botanical Garden, Botifo Safari Valley Resorts, and also you pay 70% upfront, and the rest of the 30% will be spread for over 2 years with no interest. Okay, look at them at Ebri, close to Ebri Girls and Akropong after the latter junction. Call them on 0559 761 144 or 0555 621 611, or visit them on kingdomhomerealestate.com on the Facebook page, and you get some more details from there as well. All right, Nana, let me now come to you and have your debates that you wanted to put up.
Well, first of all, I was saying that it's good to hear from Dr. Farijan because of the experience he's had, and reflection is best when you've taken a step away from where you were. Especially in his case, he had been deputy commissioner for quite a number of years before becoming the chairman. So it was good to hear from him. But before that, you talked about Kodeo's proposal, and this was to do with the indelible ink matter. I haven't followed that discussion, but on the face of it, just listening to what you read and all, it sounds like a sound proposal, but like I said, my caveat is that I don't know enough. But if technology is what we know it to be, sometimes it's a letdown. On some occasion, in fact, in the recent assembly elections, I think there was a technology
of the VVD's machines.
Yeah. So all of these things are precautionary things to think about. So I think that maybe I have to hear more before I can, finally.
The Electoral Commission's first response, which yesterday I read, was the fact that it's like you're doing a double verification. The ink helps to verify, and then also we have a system, a biometric system that's already verifying us. So it thinks that we can do away with one, which is the indelible ink. It's not necessary.
Okay, so then
that's what it
is. But is Kodeo saying do away completely, or is saying that use this as a backup?
Yes, Kodeo says use it as backup.
So then it's for me. It sounds
in fact, yesterday Sly, who is a member of the MPP, said that for him as a politician and as an MP, he deems the indelible ink as a very important indicator of voters within his constituency. And it's one of the things that we've used over the years. And in fact, taking it out takes something, he feels like it takes something off the elections, So in fact, he likes it, and he will plead with the EC to maintain.
Well, talking about technology, because then I was talking about technology and the effect on employment. So technology has its positives and its negatives. So talking about the sentimental part which Sly is raising, when I vote and they put the indelible, I actually take pictures and share it.
Yeah, I said the same thing. That it's interesting when you see people take pictures and share.
I can see that because I use it as a bragging point that I voted. But so maybe the Electoral Commission might consider this, particularly as a backup. You don't have to do the bio and then do the indelible if the bio system is working. But if it fails, then and we're thinking about time and all of that at the polls when elections are going on. Imagine when the technologies fail and you need to still get people to vote. So it's something worth considering. On Dr. Farijan, I think that it's important that nobody tries in any way to politicize any of the points he makes. Unless I misunderstood anything, it doesn't sound to me like he's referring necessarily to events of today. I think he's probably looking into the future as well, because it's advisory that he's offering advice in some senses, of course through analysis and whatever. So I'd like to, if I'm being naive, then that's my fault, but that's how I'd like to see it. He raises
very interesting issues. I think, for example, his point about vote buying is something that I'd like to see us talk about seriously. It shouldn't be a sweeping statement, and I think that media in particular has been very unfair about dealing with that issue for Ghana. It's not an issue that is not known. It is known. It is known as a canker. And I blame the media because the media waits till election time and then talks about it sweepingly. It doesn't deal with it to bring a certain sense or consciousness to the people about the issues. And that's a problem. We don't have to talk about it in election year alone. It should be talked about all the time, and the details must be looked at. And the media also seems to pander to political parties throwing mud at each other about this money business. And the fact is that all political parties have that problem. All political parties. So, for me, the response we've been giving to these issues are not good. When you hear from the likes of Dr. Verijan on such matters, it's an opening to sustain discussion on it. Unfortunately, he's had to make it at this time when he's been invited. If he were invited last year, he probably would have made it last year. And so last year not being an election year would have
giving us some more
time hopefully. Now it would seem like it's just another passing comment. I don't think that people are going to talk about it through the year and bring to the minds of people the need to begin to recognize that Ghana cannot be sold for 20 cedis, 40 cedis, 50 cedis, a car, and all those other things that happen. When you do that, you're trading your country, and there's no respect for it. We need to build into our thinking this problem and these facts. There's no dignity in asking for money or taking money or giving money in order to get voted for or get a vote or vote for somebody. We need to build that issue into our system. And it's a non-partisan approach because all the parties suffer this thing. If anybody is absent, says we don't, they're lying. The party that will survive is a party that doesn't have enough power and energy, just a TV party. You know a few of those. They only show up on TV and show up in election year and collect whatever it is, if there's anything to collect. So I think that I like that point you made, and I wish there'd be a lot of follow-up on that. Then
that point he made
is
just re-echoing what the pictorial, view of the practice.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really suggest how we can really, maybe we haven't had a roundtable discussion on how we can solve that problem, but how can we deal with it?
Like I said, it's not a one-day
Because it's
affair.
not enough for we TV stations to just record people, envelopes and things and put it on TV and say, this one...
You should you the TV and radio and whatever, should also be putting out the positive thing, which is that don't do it. You don't wait to have to catch somebody before it's news. The fact that you shouldn't do it should be turned into news of some sort. It should be turned into something to discuss. It should be turned into something to embed in people's minds. So there are creative ways of going about it. And it seems like Dr. Verijan dealt with a lot of issues. So, and if he dealt with only the solution for that, I think it would take up half of his time. I think he might have wanted to cover a lot. Then the next issue is this matter of the Council of State. Also an interesting proposition. I don't think he's referring to today and that there's a difference between today and when he was there. It doesn't sound to me like that. If we got a sterner Council of State, it would be interesting. Sterner because they'll be able to go, as he's proposing, go at public institutions that are not functioning properly, and then also probably credit those that are doing or working hard, especially those who get who they advise on being given appointments. Because when you are going to be appointed, for example, to be appointed to the board as chairman, they had to refer me to the Council of State. So clearly, there's some interest there, and I think that's what Dr. Verijan is talking about, that periodic reports and what have you go, which means that there's something of a monitoring body as well. And so yes, if they could
be a bit more public about their monitoring and probably came down a bit. One could argue that why do we want a Council of State to deal with I don't know how many public institutions we have, but quite a few. That would be quite a lot of homework for them. But I think that we need that in the system, and it will to strengthen their work, their role. I haven't paid attention to the law that establishes the Council of State, but it will be interesting to see whether what we're saying is even that relevant beyond the fact that they look at appointments. And so, basically, there'll be obviously a question of micromanaging, and then the matter of relevance and what we need. So it was also an interesting point that I thought he made. Then the big one. The big one was about the Electoral Commission. And he's talking about basically that they're going, or it seems, it should be more open, so to speak. Allow political parties or let them be part of
the decision making
and all of that. What is the true history of this country when it comes to Electoral Commission, especially in this Fourth Republican Constitution? What's the true history? In 1992, there was little or no trust in the Electoral Commission. 1996 was the same. Even in 2000, all the way to this day, there's never, Dr. Afari-Gyan was not trusted. Because he talked about him not having as many controversies. He hasn't done a scientific analysis of this. Otherwise, he would have given it. And you can't measure that. And times vary. So if we feel freer now, we will be more open-eyed about issues than in 92. In 92, people were afraid. Even going to vote was an issue.
But there was a history to that.
Good.
We came from a certain background, so 92.
Good.
Yeah, but having practiced democracy to this point,
good.
People must have that confidence in the Electoral Commission now.
I mean, you've made my point for me. That's exactly what I'm saying. So, how do you determine that there was less problems in Afari-Gyan's time? It was contextual.
No. But the point I'm making is that the dynamics
of... you made it, so don't worry. You don't need anything.
I'm just saying that.
What you are saying is my response to Kosi.
Okay.
Yes, I'm saying that the dynamics of 92, 96, of which he was an active part, not a side we looked up to him. He was an active part in all. The contexts are totally different. So you cannot make that comparison. Today, you and I are freer to speak than in 92. Fact. So it's easier for us to hit at the Electoral Commission on any little thing we don't want, as opposed to then. So, and today, whose choices are we going for? NDC or NPP or both? And all the side parties, CPP and others. And I call them side parties because nowadays you don't hear from them. In 92, in 96, 2000, 2004, 2000, you could hear from all these other political parties. Today is only NDC and NPP. Every other party out there is just making noise. We know that for a fact. So whose side are we taking? When we know very well the two of them will not agree on just about everything. We know that. So where does the Electoral Commission come in? And you see, I heard Kosi talk about, I think I wrote down, he said it's the people's will that must prevail and all of that. It is the Electoral Commission is not there to listen to the waves of the people. It's there to apply principle and law. And it is in the act of it, and there's Article 46(1)(4) and Act 45(1)(3) state clearly all kinds of things. In fact, for Act 451, it's not just one, there's quite a few things. But you see, here is to the establishment of the Electoral Commission.
there is established by this act an electoral commission, which shall consist, of course, the chairman, 2 deputies, and the functions of the electoral commission are A, to compile the register of voters and revise it at such period as may be determined by law. B, to demarcate the electoral boundaries for both national and local government elections. C, to conduct and supervise all public elections and referenda. Notice this, the question of election is the third item, is not even the first. D, to undertake the preparation of identity cards. E, to educate the people on the electoral process and its purpose, something they don't do enough of as far as I'm concerned. That was E. So F, to undertake programs for the expansion of voters' registration. And G.
The functions, are you reading from the functions?
Yeah. And G, to undertake, to store properly election material, and H, to perform such other functions as may be prescribed by law. These are the functions of the Electoral Commission. Nowhere in these functions does it state that they should be not independent, and that their functions are purely administrative. Everything else is by the will of the people. The will of the people is determined by their voting. The responsibility of the Electoral Commission is to apply laws and principles to manage that process so that there is no depriving the people of their decision. That's how it works out. Then there's so for me, when Dr. Afari-Gyan raises these issues, and you see, I remember, I think it was 2004 or 2000, one of them, there was a matter of serious security breaches during the election. And Dr. Afari-Gyan was under pressure to respond to that, and he took a stern position not to make it his issue. And a lot of us were offended. One day I got the opportunity to talk to him in an open forum, and I asked him this question. And his response was profound. It was not the business of the Electoral Commission to deal with security matters. Was he right? Yes. None of these provisions here require the Electoral Commission to be police officers of the electoral process. That is assigned to security people. They direct them to do what they're supposed to do. It is not their place to be policemen themselves. And that was my appreciation of what the point he was making. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, the primary role of the Electoral Commission is obvious and clear.
Primary role, but
Yes.
it has secondary roles.
What are those secondary?
So, for example, you mentioned security. The EC is not responsible for security.
No.
But the EC...
But that is not
true.
When the police acts in elections, it acts on behalf of the Electoral Commission. Yes, but it is not the Electoral Commission
but no, but
itself.
let's
It's not true.
Yes,
Move
I
on.
agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying that in all election processes, in all the processes we go through, the Electoral Commission has the responsibility even to ensure that security is apt.
Yes.
Even though the Electoral Commission is not, its primary responsibility is not to provide
And that's
security,
the point I'm
but
making.
it makes sure that this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
This, maybe this area we need security here.
Yeah.
This area we need this number of police because of this situation. It has a responsibility of thinking through all those lines and providing
but it is
for
not
all.
responsible for arresting Nana Fredia if I breach the law.
No, but
in
it
an
is.
election
But
process.
if the police
And that is the
hold
point
on,
I'm
but if the
making.
police
So I don't know why
arrest
you're
Nana
debating
Fredia,
it.
hold
Yeah.
on. If the police arrest Nana Fredia during an election process, it is doing that on behalf of the EC.
But it's not the EC.
No, but it's not the
I
EC,
don't know.
but-
Don't change anything, because what we're saying is the same thing. We're saying the same thing. I'm saying if You see, this is something that Dr. Farijan said, and he wasn't wrong. So if you debate me and try to say I'm wrong, then he was wrong, and I don't think he was wrong. The point is, well, everything you're saying is not debatable because it is so. So I don't know why you're raising it. And even because he's trying to raise the point as if he's objecting to my comment, but he's actually saying, wants to say what you are saying. It's the same thing. It is not, the Electoral Commission doesn't have an inspector of police sitting in his office next to the commissioner determining what to do next. It doesn't. When it's ready to apply itself, then it calls in the security to play their role. Why? Doesn't the Electoral Commission employ temporary staff? Where do they come from? They are not permanent Electoral Commission officers. They have temporary staff for the purposes of that. So that's the point. The point is, for me, the Electoral Commission's functions are clear. On that basis, and you see, it is law. I'm trying to get to the point that are we there to listen to political parties, or we're there to seek the interest of the Ghanaian people? When you pushed the issues
What's the difference?
Good. When you pushed the issues to Kwesi about exactly what he meant, when he said that in times past there was negotiation, were they now?
No, not negotiations. I mean the comparison, transparency.
Well, that's my choice of words.
No, when you say negotiations,
it's my choice of words.
But
if you don't understand it, ask me to explain.
Explain your negotiations.
Good. Negotiation. Right now, you and I are negotiating a bit.
Okay,
so,
I get you.
Yeah, so
I get you. Go ahead.
What's
a brofu?
I'm very clear about what I'm saying.
I get your point.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, in that discussion you had, what did he say? He even left you in doubt. Because you cannot see, I mean, what is there to negotiate when the figures are clear? If the Electoral Commission's officers at where I vote, Awudume, JHS, Station B, I believe, if the officer there has transmitted the votes all the way through, what is there to debate? The number says 10. Why are you going to debate 10 in that room? And that's why you had doubts about what Kwesi was saying. And I had the same doubts too. Now, I'm saying the Electoral Commission's work is cut clear. They're there on behalf of every Ghanaian, regardless of your political party affiliation. And so, why, if political parties won't come to consensus, why should the Electoral Commission be the one to suffer? I love the IPAC situation. I think it's a great idea. It cuts down on a lot of controversy, but it should not be the final say in matters that the Electoral Commission must act on. It's as simple as that. If anything at all, it's the courts that should have a final say if anybody disagrees with the Electoral Commission. What you do is build consensus, because on the ground, your support support from the political parties in your administration of the election is very important. It's very helpful. There's no doubt about it. So I agree that there should be an IPAC, there should be discussion and all of that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the Electoral Commission is primarily responsible to the Ghanaian people, and it's not necessarily the political parties who represent Ghanaian people in the negotiations of the Electoral Commission. They go there for their interests. The Electoral Commission is supposed to be there for the rest of us, or for all of us, even including the political parties. Now, on this matter that was raised about card-bearing members, how do you determine that? I'm sitting here, then I get appointed to the Electoral Commission. Prior to getting the appointment, for 20 years I've held my NPP card, for 30 years, whatever. Then I'm qualified to do the business because of my party card, a right that the Constitution affords me to belong to any association I like. I should be denied the opportunity, and Ghanaians should be denied the opportunity of my service because of card bearing. And again, because it is the law. It says qualification and appointments of members of the commission. It says 4. And this is in the Act. 4.1. A person is not qualified to be appointed a member of the commission unless he is qualified to be elected as a member of parliament. You know what a member of parliament is? More often than not, is a party person. A member of parliament, more often than not, is a party person. Out of the 275 members of parliament of today, only one is independent. Even that one, we know his leanings. So how does that work out? That we should be worried about somebody's card status in the appointment of that person into the commission? I don't understand. Should we not rather hold the person responsible for their work?
Even when the person has openly spoken for the party.
So hold them responsible. I have no
times.
problem with that. I have no problem with that. In fact, I think it's the right thing to do. But don't, because he's a card-bearing member, he should step down. Justice Annan, was he not a card-bearing member of the sitting government at the time that he was made electoral commissioner?
No, but
you see,
in the appointment of yes.
My whole thing is that the argument should not start from card-bearing. The argument should start from, are you doing your work well?
Are you doing your work well?
Yes.
Which work?
Whatever appointment.
What he was appointed for.
Yes.
But how will we know he's doing it well when people
but you just raise questions. You just raised the question that, for example, the person made a comment that appeared partisan.
No, he didn't make a comment that appeared. He spoke for the party, just like you're here speaking for a party.
No, I'm talking about in his appointment. Wasn't that the issue?
No.
Yeah, I thought you said there was a comment. A commissioner made a comment about a political party in his office. That commissioner is not a card-bearing
member. No. That was Kwesi Pratt's reference.
Yes.
Of the one of the commissioners making comments. Okay.
I'm saying that if that comment was not appropriate, that's what you hold them for. You don't hold them for their card membership.
I was even referring to the appointment of Appiah, is it Appiah or Appiah, yeah, that guy's appointment, who has spoken as a member of a communications team.
Do you know how many, when people have been appointed as judges, they were known MPs and what have you, and party chairpersons and all that. And they're appointed as judges. Judges, you're not supposed to be partisan. So let's stop these pretenses. They are not honest. What is important for Ghana is that you put competent people, and when they are doing wrong things, you hold them responsible, not at beer bars, in their right places. I think, for me, that's our problem. We're not honest with ourselves in the spaces that we should be. Because there's nothing holding anybody. The President of the Republic, the head of state, the one who's commanding our army, is a card-bearing member of a political party. Come on. It doesn't work. So that's not the angle to take. The angle to take is the competence at work. Nana Freddy has been invited to come and speak on the program. Is he doing what is befitting of the standards of Metro and the concept? It's not about whether I'm looking good or not. That's irrelevant to. Once I'm not looking riffraff in your opinion, and I'm making sense, then I qualify to be on your program. You see what I'm saying? So we should take away this. It won't help us. Bottom line, I think that Dr. Afrasian has done us a lot of favors by raising these issues. I wish that media houses like yours would make these issues the issues throughout the year, and not just be antagonistic, but protagonistic as well. In other words, talk to the positive. If you're not, you know that the assembly elections, you know, it's supposed to be non-partisan, yeah? You know, people ask for money.
for the assembly member, their candidate. They ask their candidates for money before they go and vote. Why? And we've argued when President Kufuor suggested that we should partizanize the assembly. We said we won't do it. We're not being honest with ourselves. And on the ground too, look at what's happening. It's a big problem. So for me, my conclusion on this, thank you, Dr. Farichan. If there were any innuendos or whatever I missed, well, that's my naivety. But the point is, all the issues he raised, for me, are worthy of further discussion and probe. And we should go on with it. It will help us.
You know, some strange things have happened this morning. For example, Nana pitches the will of the people against principle and law. Principle and law, where do they come from? The expressions of the will of the people. The 1992 Constitution was subjected to approval by the people. Article 1 of the very Constitution states that very clearly, that this Constitution comes into force only because it's approved by the people. So the will of the people is paramount. It overrides any law and any principle. That's clear. It's very clear. So the Electoral Commission is set up to uphold the will of the people, or to design and supervise processes which make the will of the people manifest. Finished. There's no other way. There's no way in which you can pitch the will of the people against principle and law. You read chapter 1 of the Constitution, it talks about commencements of the Constitution. It says the Constitution approved as a referendum held on 28th of April 1992 and set out in the schedule to this law shall come into force on 7th day of January 1993. Very clear. So very clear, you know. Now, there is an issue of card-bearing members of political parties being appointed onto the Electoral Commission. And really, Nana, Nana, really. I mean, the arguments you have made this morning, really. Listen, let's say that January 7th, 2025, NDC comes into power. And NDC decides that there are vacancies on the Electoral Commission. And NDC decides to fill those vacancies with Dr. Tony Edu, Hannah Bisu, Hudu Yaya, and Guzitando. Are you going to make the arguments you're making here? Are you seriously going to make the arguments you're making here? That party membership does not matter. We should look at the performance of the people and so on. And how can you be making those arguments? You know, what we say today will become a standard for us tomorrow. And we should be careful what we say today. Card-bearing party members must be stopped from being appointed onto the Electoral Commission. And this can be elevated to the point of principle. If you cannot accept Dr. Tony Edu, Guzitando, Hudu Yaya, Hannah Bisu.
He hasn't told you he cannot accept.
By his argument, the extension of his argument, he will be comfortable.
Yeah, unfortunately for you. Unfortunately for
but
you.
The extension of the argument will be very comfortable.
Unfortunately for Kosi.
Yeah.
Dr. Tony Edu would make a fine commissioner.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. You see, I'm trying to tell you that. Look, I know Dr. Tony Edu. I know, and I've gotten to know him. I cannot claim to know him very well. I've gotten to know, and I've sat with him. Guzitan. I knew him from one. Uduyaya, I don't know, but I've seen him.
Anabisu.
Anabisu.
Electoral Commissioner.
Anabisu, I know. You doubt her.
I'm not doubting. I'm just
so
saying
why are
that.
you repeating her name?
No, I'm just saying that.
No, he's giving you.
You made Annie chuckle. You made Annie doubt it.
Yeah.
So since you don't like Hannah Bishop to be a commissioner,
Who said?
You just said it.
I'm saying that no card-bearing
You see, here's my point, Chrissy.
should be appointed onto the electoral commission.
First of all, everybody, have you finished?
No, he hasn't.
Okay.
You're allowed to interject.
Thank you. So first of all, in your initial intervention of the People's Will, I was never at variance with you on it all, but you tried to apply it to the responsibilities of the Electoral Commission beyond making sure that our electoral processes were clean and clear. And that's where I disagree, because it does not, that People's Will does not include going into the Electoral Commission's offices and telling them what to do. Clear. And I'm glad that you took the angle you took, that the people willed the Constitution into being, and it is documented in there. That very Constitution is now very clear, and so it says that the independence of the Commission must be documented, and it is documented in the Act, and it says, except as provided in the Constitution or in any other law not inconsistent with the Constitution, in the performance of the functions, the Electoral Commission shall not, my emphasis, shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. They're not supposed to be controlled. So IPAC is a goodwill decision based on all the agitations the likes of you did from the beginning. And notice I'm crediting you. The likes of you who were in the forefront, leading the rest of us to make sure that we got smooth electoral processes. But it was at within the space of the Electoral Commission to accept to do that. They didn't have to. It is not in their requirement. And at IPAC.
But I'm quiet with you making those points, but somehow I don't agree with you. The fact that you have a constitution backing your activities does not mean that it's sacrosanct. That no one can have an opinion, no one can have a contribution, no one can either reject any proposal you make. By the point you're making, I feel even party agents are not necessary at polling stations.
How do you get that?
Because the EC
You did hear me when I said I like the IPAC concept.
Yes, I heard you.
You just heard me when I
yes,
gave
but
credit
even
to
right now, you have just
and
said that the EC agrees to do, to allow you coming because the EC agrees to do that. Not necessarily, it's like an obligation on the EC to allow parties to participate in activities. Yes, no, I don't think it's obligated, but for the purposes of credibility and removal of doubts, you allow everybody to have an opinion. What is wrong with that?
IPAC exists?
Yes, and I'm saying that is there, even today, now the EC is calling for the parties who have left IPAC to come back because it has seen that in making decisions and electoral changes without necessarily the input of parties can create a problem. I still don't
get where you're conflicted with my comment.
Because
I never said
you're pretending to not get my comment.
Now you're in my head.
Yes, this one you're pretending not to not get my comment.
What have you guys done to the technology around here? I find that it's like how when my mic wasn't working, Kwesi was quick to utter to the world that it was. Annie, you haven't been listening to me.
I've been listening to you.
All I said clearly was one. IPAC is a good creation of the Electoral Commission. And it was a creation of the Electoral Commission. But it didn't just come on a silver plate, a platter. These gentlemen and some women fought for it all. They fought for it and we were backing them. We were backing vocals. But there were a lot of them. Chairpersons of the various political parties, Asma Banda and others, a whole host of names you have to list, making comments at one point or the other between 1992 and I can argue till 2000 when the intensity was its highest. Because at any point in time there were issues. So IPAC is a necessity. It's good. But they are not at IPAC to tell us what to do. It is not, as I go back to your discussion.
Inter-party advisory committee.
Good. Advice is not compulsory.
Compulsory. We're not saying. But
so what is the
But it's an inter-party
so what's the difference
advisory,
between what you're saying and what I'm saying?
Committee.
Yeah, so what's the difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying? And I refer to the conversation you had earlier with Kwesi, when you asked him, when he made the point about what they do at the strong room, and you asked him, so what if the numbers vary? You know, and all of that. That's not how it's supposed to work, where somebody somewhere is determining the people's will at the strong room. How? It doesn't work like that. And that's not what the Electoral Commission does. And I'm sure that's not what even Kwesi was trying to say. So let's not mix the issues. If at any point it is the public's interest for which the Electoral Commission takes actions, we should not fault it. If it is taking an action that the public deems, and the public can be represented by a political party, I don't dispute that. If the public deems an act by the Electoral Commission to be wrong, the best place to go and resolve it is the courts. As particularly when they can't come to consensus at IPAC. The best place. It's only law that can change a decision by the Electoral Commission. It's the insistent decision. If on its own it doesn't want to change a decision, a political party says this is not what we want, and he says I won't change my decision. It is the courts that can make it changes, and we must stick to that. Look, in this country, that our biggest problem, or one of them, I did, and I say this humbly, is that we don't allow the laws to work effectively. If we allow laws to work, this country will change overnight. It's as simple as, and the same applies to the Electoral Commission. Let the laws of the Electoral Commission work. We'll be able to hold the commissioners responsible if they do something wrong.
But then I disagree that, you know, if you are dissatisfied with the work of the commission, the only place you can go and protest is the courts. It's not true. The Constitution doesn't say that. The Constitution also recognizes the streets as a place of protest against what we don't like. The Constitution is clear. Yeah, the Constitution is very clear. I'm not stretching it.
And it doesn't work.
The Commission doesn't change anything.
You still go to court.
You have to go to the court.
We can go to the streets and even change governments.
Oh.
Yes. It's in the Constitution.
When
that very
you go on the
Constitution.
streets,
Yes.
when you go on the streets to change a government, what happens? The government then says, there's an uprising, so I'm stepping down. Isn't that what happens? What if it doesn't step down?
What if it does?
Oh, if it doesn't step down, you think that the people have no options?
What will they do?
The people have many options to exercise.
In a civil society,
yes.
What will they do?
They have many options to exercise.
What are they?
You see, the will of the people
What are the
is
options?
the
Sri Lanka was once
power.
a civil
You have to
society.
agree to
Good.
that.
What happened?
Sri Lanka was once a
What
civil
happened?
society.
What was the result of their action? They went on the streets. They had enough to defy. The government had no choice.
Yes.
Yes. So the point.
That's the point he's trying to make.
But what did I say different? I said if you do and the government does not change. You see, when you listen to me, you hear. I said that if the government doesn't listen and change, Sri Lanka didn't listen and change.
But
That's what I said. I didn't say anything.
What type of government will refuse to listen to the people and change?
What type?
It's only a dictatorship. It's only a government which is not responsive.
No, it's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
If you refuse to listen to the people, what kind of government are you?
It's not true. Where the people is defined as what? The millions of people with the streets in Sri Lanka versus 10 people on the streets. The 10 are also counted though. You see,
I'm talking about the millions.
Let's keep things
I'm talking about the expression of
let's
people's
keep
will.
things within context. We're talking about the Electoral Commission. It is an arm of the state, empowered by the Constitution, an instrument of the will of the people. The people have stated clearly who can control and cannot control the Electoral Commission. So if the people have a problem with the actors within the commission, what's the best way to get them to act? To go to that other will of the people, that institution of law, the courts, who have been assigned with the responsibility of determining justice.
Okay, I want to play a video.
So
and I want to play
what
a
are we
video.
talking about?
You watch this video.
No more. Omana shenensa. Enu ntia de yajiatu. Yengo ka say Petro boyed na. Fatrotro, untumi to Petro fatrotro. Yengo ka o. Yengo ka say so many boyed na fa passport tu kwan. Wa mo na ka sa. Ye de ka say odwanfunu. O ka ye ntie. Obia ye de bibi abeka bia ye som. Tina me say fix it. And you don't person capitalize on it for political advantage. Omunim people, those who are behind the fix it on social media. Omuno so omudi ayeye. No mudi birika akosisa ebimu ko akọ physical tuturi die. Omu so omenu ma ye den. Won we ho budget na ebimu de cost sponsor no. So ahun fix it ho demonstration budget ebimu omu so omenu ma ye den no. Oh, fix it to them demonstration. Some budget no how the babonti. Oh. How the babonti? Politicians will feel him. Me feel him. Sponsorship e cost na fix it no. Sa dem no. Se nya baswa. Bubo who leaders e di animu. What you say? Colors no so fast. No so aja ko shechire da. Abu pushi. Omundim say. Me say fix it no. Fix it no. Media fix it no. Omundim say they want omu leverage on it to gain political advantage. Yeah. Massa. But I question monso mo accept to say yes. Exactly. We are fixing it. Oh, me say. Say me enim so mo de be sa ade no. I didn't know obi akoye budget to cost sponsors a demonstration. Fix it. What you say? In the DSA, Nanado. Ghana for GDO papa ni mu. Hey, say the Ghana for GDO papa we won't be that. Now say research be. Exactly, because President on the second term still for the first time Ghana being see that say President be on the second term. No one former President Sadi Akusi again. Ubi President Mahama no or popular, and so still ubiting over 500,000 votes. Aye, ne papa Mahamas Daja Edanyania was NDC for pa.
Okay, so that's Pierre Hene who was appointed. One of the persons, there were three. He was the guy that was appointed amongst the other two ladies that were appointed onto the Electoral Commission. And we're told that he was going to be in charge of IT management or something like that. We'll check that. But, Nana?
So what was the point of this?
My point is the point you made.
Which is?
Appointing party people is not a problem. What we should be concerned about is their competence. How will you even trust a competence of this gentleman if he's appointed as a...
Why didn't you guys protest when I was appointed chairman of the National Theatre? Because that's a state institution where there's nothing... You
cannot compare the National Theatre to the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission...
Yeah, why? Are you belittling our work there?
No, I'm not.
I mean, I don't understand.
I'm not belittling your work.
No. So what's
the Electoral Commission?
What's the point?
The Electoral Commission runs elections in this country.
Okay. Pardon?
It runs elections in this country.
National Theatre does things for Ghana.
It does things for Ghana, not for political parties.
But which Electoral Commission does things for political parties?
The Electoral Commission.
Does it?
Yes.
What does it do for political parties?
It runs elections for this country.
It doesn't.
And that is for political parties.
Do things for political parties.
What
That's
things?
what you said.
No, what things are you talking about? No,
I said it. I didn't say it.
I said it runs elections for political parties in this country.
Does it run the elections for political parties?
But the election, who partakes in the elections?
Do you listen to the law I read? Nana, did you hear them refer to a political party? Why you're saying that those people who run as independent candidates, they are non-entities. They are not worth regarding because
those
the election...
Those are your words.
Yes, because of what you said.
Those are your words.
Because of what you said.
What did I say?
You said that they run elections for political parties. And I said, are you sure? Because there's nothing in the law that says it should run for political parties. It says it runs elections for Ghana.
So it runs elections for Ghana.
Yeah.
I get your point.
Now you're about to change your words.
I get your point.
Yeah.
But it running elections for Ghana. Who partakes in the elections?
Ghanaians.
Which Ghanaians?
What by which Ghanaians? Qualified Ghanaians.
They come in which form?
Well, are there different forms of Ghanaians? I don't get you. I mean, stop trying to justify. Stop trying to justify a ridiculous. This your tape you played was irrelevant to the point.
Really?
Yes, it was totally irrelevant.
That's your opinion. I accept that.
But of course, it was yours. Is why you played it.
No, your opinion.
Your opinion made you play that.
No,
tape
I'm saying that
because it was an irrelevant tape.
No, your opinion that it was an irrelevant tape is your opinion. I accept
and
that.
Yours was it irrelevant?
I played this, of course, it's relevant.
So it's your opinion. And I'm saying that, as for opinions, everybody has a nose. And that's the beauty of democracy. You're allowed to have one, because Ziprat has an opinion and a nose. But you see, what is relevant to the Ghanaian? What is the truth for the Ghanaian? What is going to make a Ghanaian see that you're dealing with issues? This gentleman you played, if his membership of a political party is not hidden, and he's been appointed to a position you deem sensitive more than somebody else.
National Theatre.
Have you been there to see whether he's working and whether he's failing, whether he's being biased towards the party that he supports? Have you been there? Why do you want to create discredit for him without doing your homework?
The concern of persons appointed into such office, and he is not the point, except that we use him as
you know that just about every appointment in the world?
The concern about
appointing
certain persons is not to wait for us to assess their work, whether their work is good or bad.
Good.
Is to avoid them even in that office in the first place.
No. Why are you avoiding them? Are they not Ghanaians? After all, you're the one who had shades of Ghanaians. Which shade of Ghanaian is he? The issue is that.
Why are you so worried?
Because let me
Nana belongs to a political party which opposed the appointment of Charlotte Osei as electoral commissioner.
Good.
What was the basis of the opposition to Charlotte Osei?
You're taking too long in raising that issue.
What was the basis of the opposition to Charlotte Osei?
I support you in raising that point.
You know, I had that concern, but I didn't want to raise it. That's because the party or the government sort of went through some legal procedures to remove her. Yes. So that's why I didn't even want to bring it up.
Even that comment was not true. Wasn't it somebody else who proposed and put to the president, and then the necessary investigations and things were done? It wasn't the government that moved to remove her.
No, I'm not saying the government moved to remove her. I'm saying that
you used government, didn't you? Let's stick to the facts of the matter. I'm saying, first of all, I don't run away from battles. I mean, by now you should know me. And that's because he knows me very well. I don't run away from battles. This thing, I was even going to say it myself. In my mix of things, I forgot. Yes, wasn't Charlotte a questionable nomination? Wasn't she?
Was she?
Was she not?
She was a questionable nomination.
Isn't that why
I'm asking you, was she a questionable?
Of course she
Why was she?
Because we suspected that she was going to be extremely biased.
Why?
Because as far as we knew, she was a partisan person.
Did you see her party card?
Did
you ever see?
Yes, I am.
Did she ever speak for any party?
You see, the difference between the two of you and me is that you assess your past and determine the future. Going forward, was that necessarily the best thing for MPP to do at the time? You see, that's the stuff you don't do, which I do. So when you're talking to Nana Fridia, please be careful. I'm telling you that, yes, why? You look back. Dr. Ferijan, a lot of the things he said, when it's time, we could have queried him, why didn't he do it? But you see, he has gone on reflection. And he knows how to move us forward. So he proposes the things. It's in that same context that we must all operate. The issue on the table now let's talk about Charlotte Osei. Did she end up being competent at her job? As far as we're concerned, she was, wasn't she? After all, when the elections was over, she gave the results as we knew them. Is that not the case? So, if in the beginning we started and we were worried about a partisan thing, and in the end it was egg on our face, so to speak, what lesson do you learn from there? And that's the problem you guys have. You're not learning the lessons.
So that's
the lesson is that going forward, it isn't about the card-bearing membership. Going forward, it is about the person at the table doing the work and whether they are doing it or not. I raised the question. Justice Annan, before he became Speaker, he was the Electoral Commissioner. Before he became Speaker. Why? Even Dr. Farijan, when he was in office, every now and then, people would try and say that he was a partisan person. Dr. Farijan, if you like, all him, I ask.
I know.
So I'm saying that, look, if we don't learn how to graduate, we don't deserve any degrees in democracy.
Okay, let me have Kwesi.
You know, Nana, I want to believe that we are aware of the future importance of what you're saying now.
Because you know me.
The future importance.
Yes, of what you're saying now.
Kwesi knows me, pa.
So it's clear.
Kwesi knows me, pa.
And also, fortunately for us, we are not here strictly as an individual.
No.
We are here speaking for a party.
Yes.
Now we understand that from now on, the MPP has no opposition to the appointment of card-bearing members of political parties.
Or persons they suspect.
No, card-bearing members. I mean, it's not about suspicion, it's a fact. Card-bearing members of political parties being appointed onto the Electoral Commission. I think it's important to take note of that.
Okay.
Let's move on.
I think Kwesi Pratt is empowering with authority I don't have. And he's doing it conveniently to suit his political interests. Oh. This statement he just made is irrelevant to the issue. The fact that I've said this
doesn't mean that you have a problem with card-bearing
doesn't mean that
appointees.
I'm speaking on behalf of the NPP. I'm an NPP person and I have a position, and that's the beauty of our party. If our party decides that they want to publicly state what I've stated, great. But it's not Kwesi Pratt who puts out the edict on our behalf, which is what he's trying to do right.
So what's the position? So this is your personal position.
Why don't you ever introduce him as a CPP man?
But he's here as a journalist.
Because there's conviction.
Because he's here as a journalist.
I don't have capacity to give edicts. So why are you giving one on my behalf?
No problem. No problem.
You see, this kind of you must always see.
I just want to understand.
It was intentional.
Oh yeah,
it was intentional. He said yes.
Yes.
It was intentional.
But Nana, how can I come and speak on national television and say things unintentionally?
It's not a mischievous statement.
It is.
No, it's not a mischievous statement.
Why do you think I said it was intentional? I said it is.
It is clear by the position you took earlier.
Are you in his head?
I'm a journalist.
So what? Are you in his head? Why? You think the journalist so you're God?
Don't be worried.
Are you in his head?
Nana is now telling us.
As for me, I've said what I've said.
I know.
And I'm telling you that.
I know, Nana.
If you have learned lessons from the past, if you've learned lessons from the past, how don't you share those lessons with Ghanaians so that we move on? Why do you want to stay in the past and live with the past in a manner that doesn't help us? I asked you a simple question. In the case that you used, you thought you had got me with Charlotte Osei. And I said to you that Charlotte Osei is a good example of why we should move on. Because she came in against a lot of anti-position. And in the end, as far as election results are concerned, did we have an argument? So, on reflection, should we have attacked her in that manner? And so going forward, is that how we should treat people? Or we should look at the competence.
But with Charlotte Osei, what you describe as X,
what I thought
hold on, what you describe as X on your face, she was criticized in the beginning, and then later you won the elections.
Yeah.
Then you still went ahead to remove her.
You see, you keep saying that, and I see is that what happened? Did the MPP go out to go remove her?
Who removed her?
Didn't you see the petitions that went out?
Who removed her?
Did you see the petitions that went out?
There are similar petitions which have been ignored by this very government.
So what? Now you're shifting the goal.
No, I'm not.
It's an irrelevant question. I said, who removed her? You see, so, and that's part of the problem, Annie. If you're sitting back and always trying to be liberty to say boyfriend, but you want to make it boyfriend, then you're going to come up with all kinds of problems. going to come up with all kinds of problems. You see, otherwise, we won't be. It is a matter of fact. All these things I've said are matters of fact. You can decide to agree with them or accept them as truth. In fact, they are facts, therefore truth. They are then so.
Ishmael Ahoria Ali from Nima says, good morning, and it will be better for the EC to understand that the 2024 general elections is not about the NPP and the NDC, it's about the NPP and the majority of Ghanaians because the people are suffering, you say. Okay, good morning, Annie. I'm very disappointed listening to what Nana is saying this morning. So after showing the video of the NPP communicator who was appointed by Akufo-Addo to work as at the Electoral Commission, he's still defending him, saying that he's Ghanaian, so there is nothing wrong with it. Must you defend everything?
Must you ask all kinds of questions?
I'm appalled. I'm appalled this morning. I'm appalled this morning, and I feel sad for the country called Ghana. Maso probably Ayawaso East constituency. Well, I think Kwesi Pratt wanted to make a point, but that's true. He has distanced himself from the point that he's not, even though he's from MPP, he's not speaking as an MPP member. He has an opinion. So he's made the opinion.
No, I'm speaking as an MPP member.
And that's
I'm
the position.
Not declaring on behalf of the party.
Of the party. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
And that declaration was not even made by me. It was made by Kwesi. CPP 1, 2 against MPP.
Okay. Good morning. I believe Jean Mensah will take the advice giving freely from Afrojan, because since 1992, most of the Electoral Commission reforms were proposed by Nana Addo and IEA, led by Jean Mensah. If the Electoral Commissioner, that's the chairperson, Dr. Afrojan, former, has behaved and misconducted himself, like she is doing according to you, would have reached here for her to become the Electoral Commissioner and enjoy all the goodies they're having today. Today, the IPAC means nothing to Jean Mensah, and she should remember that power is transient. So the intolerance of this very government is enormous and must desist from the behavior. Otherwise, they wouldn't have cancelled the important program, the 2020 elections, Okay, your message is too long. Alhaji from PIFAM said, good morning, Annie. I don't think anyone in this country is saying that the EC is not an independent body. But what Ghanaians are saying is that they should stop they should stop and consult stakeholders in decision making. The arrogant posture of Madam Jean Mensah is becoming one too many, and earlier she puts a stop to it. The better for our democracy and the rule of law. Madam Jean Mensah is doing all that she could to help the NPP break the 8. That's what you think. Well, Prosper says that, Annie, I've had a sedate problem with people getting on shows like this to say I'm speaking for myself. You see, when you are representing a political party, who told you that you were brought there to speak for yourself? Okay, onto the show because you speak nice English. Now this one is to you speak nice English. If Metro TV production does not clearly define who and in whose name panelists are paneled, you're likely to have Nana come to say things like these. Okay, Prosper, Ashikwe, good morning to you. Sends this in. And yesterday I saw you write a long thing about Randy. Thank you for that as well. Fred Avagnon says that EC, Annie, do Ghanaians have confidence in the courts when it comes to the political and constitutional cases? The recent happenings doesn't give any encouragement. EC organizes internal elections for political parties. What is Nana saying? Is a question. What? Okay, I have a lot, but I think my time is up. So my time is up.
Yes, quickly. This is because of the impression when people are invited to programs, even if they were nominated by their political parties, a lot of the things they will say is their own coined words.
Yes, but they represent the party.
It doesn't matter. The general posture will show you that they are this party.
Okay.
But the details can be their opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. The second point is that you invited me, the NPP didn't assign me to this. You should say that. Because that's the truth.
But I invited you because you are NPP.
Recognized spokesperson of the party.
I don't dispute that.
Check the flyer.
But I'm saying that, why? Did I dispute it? But when you said, I emphasize that I'm an NPP person.
But do you know that?
So it's important for you to make that distinction for people to understand.
But the NPP agreed for you to be on to represent them.
You called them?
Yes, of course.
You called them?
Of course, I gave them notification.
But you didn't tell me that, did you?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It does.
Oh.
The next time when you invite me, I'll be careful.
To call them. Because you are officially recognized.
In fact, what actually happened was that they even called me. They rather called me to check who was representing them.
Okay.
And I said Nana Fibia is on.
Okay,
so
then that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
But you understand what I'm saying, though?
So you want to come, on your own?
No. Do you understand? Oh, as for the decision to be assigned here, whether by the party or by you, is yours.
No, I don't see why we should debate on this one.
Because there's a public opinion out there
that
people should be robots on this show.
Oh no, that's not the opinion. That's not necessarily.
Or you didn't understand the comment you read.
It's because of what Kwesi Pratt said and what you also said. You're also drawing on your paper.
I mean, Nana is a good artist.
He's like you.
He's a good artist. I've seen him trying to draw the map of Africa. And I think he's very good.
Almost all the 22 years.
For my whole life.
So you should know that when I'm saying something, it's not necessarily a debatable statement.
At all. I mean, we're not saying that, but we're just saying that. I think it's the point. No. I want us to come to a conclusion.
No,
the point Kwesi Pratt made that you objected to, and that's what that's making people think the way they think.
And it is because they think that people must not have opinions, and that's what I'm trying to get you to say. That no, he's allowed to have an opinion.
Yes, please, he's allowed. That one, it's true. It's true. But Ambassador Sampiale, good morning to you. He says that the last time I checked, the same Article 43, which Nana is referring to, was still valid when Charlotte Osei was the Electoral Commission. I think we've also settled that issue. Nana has made his point on that. Yeah, the MPP called her... Oh, sorry, I can't repeat that. Sorry.
Oh, is that from the ambassador?
Sorry, I can't repeat it. Well, that's what time Lala was here on Good Morning Ghana. We're back tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special.